Hi, my name is Josh, and I live in North Carolina, and I voted for Donald Trump. My bad, fam. Not my proudest moment. I will not be voting for him again. First time I've ever in my life, I'm 40 years old, first time I've ever voted for a Democrat. But, I mean, if Joe Biden drops out and the DNC runs a tomato can, I will vote for the tomato can, because I believe the tomato can will do less harm than our current president. So, just wanted to throw that out there, and if anybody sees this, hope everybody's good. Black Lives Matter. Peace, I'm out.
Sequence starts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
John Hopwood is my daddy. John Hopwood is my daddy. John Hopwood is my daddy. John. Daddy. Oh, Jesus.
Everybody, welcome. Here we go again. It's Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, if you have the cable. Of course, we're streaming worldwide at WMNHradio.org and on the Facebook, on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. It is Wednesday, July 1, the year of our Lord and the year of our Unix 2020. So nice to have you all with me. And of course, we are sponsored proudly by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street. In fact, Jenny is over there right now at the Hop Knot. So if you're in the area, please swing by and say hello. It is a wonderful place, delicious gourmet pretzels. They have craft beer, they have wine, great food, great people. Really nice family that runs it. And they've got tonight is the trivia night. It is, of course, Wednesday. Every Wednesday night at the Hop Knot, they do Stump Trivia. Let's see. It's in-person trivia is back at the Hop Knot as of last week. They just restarted it last week. Wednesday nights have never been better. Join us for a 2-hour-long game of free fun trivia beginning at 7 p.m. We will be using our new digital scoring system. Each team will designate a team captain to submit answers on your team's behalf. No need to write anything down by hand, no need to stand up, and no need to turn in a paper answer slip. So that is tonight, and no need to make a reservation either. Apparently, you can just show up. So that is tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Hop Knot at the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street. I can see it from here, and I'm waving, but again, there is a slight delay, so no one will see my wave until actually it already happened. But such is life. We've got some great stuff of fun and excitement for you, but first, let me give the contact info. 603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007. You can also send a text if you would prefer to 617 917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@ipmnation.com. There is a myriad, a cavalcade, what would be another word? Can't think of another word. I can't even say thesaurus. A thesaurus, I am not. There was another word on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it now. Anyway, what did I say? I said myriad. What was the other way I said? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's more than one way to get in touch, but the best thing to do is to give us a call at 603-250-6007, and then we can all hear and enjoy your dulcet tones. So there you go. When I was a kid, you'd always hear these radio shows say, call us toll free at blah, blah, blah. No one really says that anymore because of cell phones. There is no, you don't need to call toll free. You're using your cell phone, unless you're using a landline. If you're using a landline, do all the old rules still apply if you have an old fashioned landline? I still remember when I got rid of mine. It was like 20 years ago. I was like, it's finally time to get rid of it. I was paying $50 a month for something I literally was not using at all. But it felt weird. It felt at the time like a big step, getting rid of the landline. Let's see. We have some folks. We have some peeps in the Facebook live chat. Let's address and say hello to all of you. John Midas Manning, first one in today. DJ Midas says, hello, Matt. And he is a top fan. Now, Midas, by the way, so a couple things. Midas, of course, the host of Late Night Delight here on WMNH, which you can hear every Saturday night beginning at 12 midnight all the way to 4 a.m. with a replay on Sunday night. Great, great show. But I also heard at the end of the replay of the morning show, Peter White of the morning show with Peter White mentioning that Midas is going to be on the morning show tomorrow. I think it was tomorrow. It was either tomorrow or Friday. I think it was tomorrow. Correct, Midas? Tell me if I have that right. They've known each other since high school or maybe even before high school. So they are lifelong friends. So that will be wonderful. So you'll have to tune into the morning show. And there was some discussion in the same conversation-ish about Gonzo, Mike Gonzalez, being on the morning show tomorrow as well. But I guess Gonzo hasn't confirmed yet or something, so I don't know what's going on there. Bobby Champagne joins us in the Facebook live chat. He says, what else is there to do? LOL. Just kidding. I want to be here. Well, we're very glad that you're here, sir. Brian Mackey, who is a top fan +1. So he gets the official +1 air horn. I only use that air horn for Brian Mackey because he is a top fan +1. He's in the Facebook live chat and says, good afternoon, everyone. Brian, of course, also the host of the No More Excuses podcast. And if you're watching online, you can see I'm wearing my No More Excuses hat. Brian and I did record a new edition of No More Excuses last night, and I did share it out on the Facebook, and of course, you can also find it on the YouTube. I've got my No More Excuses hat. I've got my Edgewise shirt, one of two of them. I felt badly. There was a day last week I went to mention, because I saw Chris H. Space, the drummer in Edgewise, was in the Facebook live chat, and I just, you ever just blank out? I Bidened. I said, check out Chris's band, and I couldn't remember the name, and I just said, you know the thing. No, I didn't say that, but I knew it started with an E, but I just totally blanked on the name. It's Edgewise. And if you're watching online, as you can see, my wonderful Edgewise shirt, it's kind of appropriate because there's a guy in a gas mask on the shirt, and that just seems appropriate for the times in which we live. Where people are wearing masks. Right here in the city of Manchester, I wear a mask. Jenny wears a face mask as well, and I think there's 9 or 10 other people in the entire city wearing masks as well. So great job, Manchester, New Hampshire. Great job. Yeah, we're doing great. Not even the police wear them. So awesome. You can walk into a convenience store. There'll be a sign where it says mask required as you walk into the store. And then you walk into the store and even the employees oftentimes aren't wearing them, or they're wearing them, but they're using them as chin straps. They're covering their chins. So great job, convenience store employees. You're all doing. Everybody's just pulling together to beat this COVID-19. Wow. So impressive. I'm going to continue to wear mine because I feel that it's the right thing to do. But great job, everyone else, just not giving a crap about other people. You're all awesome. Go America. Oh, boy. Anyway, how many dead are we up to now? Like 100, 130,000, something like that? Close to it. Don't worry. If we're not there yet, we'll get there. We can do it. Oh, boy. Yep. Our summer of death and sickness, because we just can't, we're just not up for this fight, are we? No, we are not. Jenny is in the Facebook live chat, by the way. She is a sharer. Did I mention she's at the Hop Knot right now, our wonderful sponsor? Bobby Champagne says, good afternoon, Jenny and Matt Connarton. All alone today, it appears. All by myself. I thought John Hopwood and or Gonzo might stop in because they're both in the building, or they were in the building, doing John Hopwood's television show on TV 23 up on the fourth floor. But I've not seen either of them. So Gonzo might be laying low. He likes to stir up controversy, but sometimes maybe he goes a little too far. Anthony Richard joins us in the Facebook live chat. Now, Anthony Richard, I don't know. I mean, I believe I'm Facebook friends with him, but I don't know exactly who that is, because I have thousands of Facebook friends of people I've never even met because I just friend everybody. But the last time Gonzo was here, Anthony Richard called in, and I would invite you to call back, sir. I have a specific question for you, because he mentioned this was an interesting moment. So he called and told Gonzo he wasn't funny, which I personally disagree with. I do think Gonzo is funny, but I also understand that the humor might not necessarily appeal to everybody unless you're already familiar with the various people and characters that come in and out of the show. Because Gonzo, what I do find funny, and what some of us find funny about Gonzo, is the impressions that he does. He does an impression of John Hopwood, which I find hilarious, and he does various other impressions. His EZG impression I find very, very funny. But if you're not familiar with all these characters and whatnot, you might not think Gonzo is funny. Or maybe Gonzo is just not your cup of tea. But when Anthony Richard called and said what he said to Gonzo, he asked him something about Philadelphia. Are you Gonzo from Philadelphia, or something like that? And Gonzo didn't really have a direct answer to that. Almost as though he knew the reference, but didn't want to acknowledge it. That's how it came off. Now, I am curious what exactly that whole Philadelphia thing was about. But anyway, so feel free to call in, Anthony Richard. I mean, feel free to call in anyway, of course, at 603-250-6007. But that Philadelphia thing has left me very, very curious. Curious like a cat. Bobby Champagne says we're waiting on Gonzo. I like I said, he was in the building, but the thing about Gonzo, though, is he's not one to, I think somebody else is going to be dropping in a moment. But Gonzo is not one to just drop in. Gonzo always checks with me first. And I told him one time, I said, you're welcome anytime. And he says, yes, but just out of politeness, I like to check with you first, which is very nice. Mike Pelopita, who is a top fan, joins us in the Facebook live chat. He says, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Matt. Wayne Noel, all the way from Michigan, is a top fan and says, afternoon all. Bobby Champagne says, plethora, or plethora, rather, plethora is what you were going to say. Actually, you're right. That is the word I was searching for. Plethora, a plethora of ways to get in touch. Joe Friday is in the Facebook live chat. He says, hey, gents. Joe Friday, of course, John Hopwood doesn't believe that is his real name, but I believe that it is. Bobby Champagne says that Peter White and DJ Midas have known each other since diapers or high school. Oh, it is Friday. Okay, DJ Midas is going to be on the morning show on Friday. Okay, very good. Thank you. DJ Midas says, it must get so confusing having to keep track of over 6,000 unique air horn samples. Kudos. It is. It is, Midas. It's very, very difficult. And they all sound distinctly different, which I think is great. Joe Friday says, well, I'm not going to read that one. Andy Barker, who is a top fan from the Nothing's Off the Table podcast, joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Andy. Nice to see you in there. Andy, all the way from the great state of Missouri. Joe Friday says bank robbers wear them too, the masks. Well, that is good to know. Bank robbers doing their part to help, stop the spread of COVID-19 as we continue to flatten the curve here in the United States. Except in this case, by flatten the curve, I actually mean watch cases spiking exponentially everywhere except here in the Northeast. Great job, everybody. Great job. I hope all those I hope all those pool parties and barbecues and everyone breathing in each other's faces, I hope it's worth it. Yeah. Bobby Champagne says, I just came back from the vets. Everyone was wearing a mask except for the dogs. Oh my God. Well, I think those dogs should be masked. What are you doing? Just, why are you know, I'm going to say that you're in the room. You've tried to do this before, where you come into the room and you go and you sit in the corner and then you do the shush sound like you think that's going to actually work. And I'm not going to acknowledge it. You know I'm going to say.
You saw that I took the key though, didn't you?
Yes, I saw that you took the key. You went to the men's room. And
I'm torn about using the men's room.
Why?
Because I forgot to read the article in The Atlantic on how to use a men's room during the plague.
Oh, I just do what I always did, but I wash my hands a little extra thoroughly at the end of it.
Well, when I was a kid, they said you could get syphilis from a toilet seat.
I think that's the least of our worries these days.
That's how Al Capone got
from a toilet seat?
Yeah. So I was going to sit under there, and if I had a tragedy before I could get to my car.
You end up with syphilis. You'll have a smoking gun, hot to the touch.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Wow.
Oh, incidentally, Gonzo is going to be on the morning show.
He is going to be. So you're confirming that right here. Gonzo will be on the morning show tomorrow.
Yes, he will.
Oh, okay. Do you know if anyone else is... So does that mean somebody else is not going to be there?
I thought DJ Midas is going to be on, isn't he?
He's going to be on Friday. No, I'm thinking of another certain person.
I don't know. I had Gonzo on my show.
Yes. How did that go?
Fine.
Yeah, he didn't offend anyone?
No, he didn't.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Well, that's good. You seem very docile today. Are you exhausted from your show?
I just, there's some loop that you have which would explain it, but I'll get better.
Oh, okay. We have a call. We'll grab this. Our first call today. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Oh, hello. I was looking to speak with John Hopwood, please.
Oh, wonderful. John Hopwood is here in the studio.
I'm not going to talk to one of those guys.
Oh, he doesn't want...
Are you talking about Vinny?
No, it's not. No. You don't know who it is? Put your headphones back on and listen. It's not anybody from that show. It's somebody from a different show. Not even a show. See what I did there?
You mean the Canucks?
It's Chris. Just...
Oh.
How many arch nemesis does Hopwood have?
You name somebody and they are.
He has. He's collected a few over the years, my friend. It's wonderful to hear from you. By the way, it's been a long time.
It has been a while. Things are going well for us. We're having a lot of fun. I had a question. I saw John on sometimes I'll watch your show because I actually like it. I think it's good. So sometimes I'll just tune in while I'm doing my editing and see what you're doing. And I noticed John was on, and I had a question for him. John, will you answer a question for me?
Why not?
Ah, very nice.
Okay, so my question for you is it true that you turned 86 on your 5th birthday?
No, you have it wrong. It'd be 46.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't quite senile until I was in my actual chronological 40s.
Right. Okay.
Do you understand how much you look like an old baby?
I'm of Spencer. I am related to Winston Churchill, who was my 17th cousin, who said all babies look like me. So
Really?
that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and little Archie, the baby,
Oh.
is 70. Well, father.
The only
Di's
thing,
father,
the only
that's
thing I can
18,
tell,
21st
the only thing I
cousin.
can tell for sure about you, John, is that you wear a diaper. I just don't know if it's end of the life or start of the life diaper.
No, I don't wear diapers, but that might help. Today.
All right, John, you really wait. You crapped your pants? Jesus, Lord,
I'm
Matt,
sitting here because
get
I
him
hope
out of
I'm
the
not
studio.
going to.
Oh boy. Oh, he hung up. Wow. All right. Well, yikes.
I shouldn't have smoked.
My
up.
bowels. are in
Yeah.
Uproar. You can see it on the show.
Well, nice to hear from Chris James of Not Even a Show. He's clearly concerned about you and your well-being.
Well, now the mystery is solved. I am related to the Spencer family.
So,
Winston Spencer Churchill.
okay.
And Diana Spencer, Princess of Wales.
Uh-huh.
I met her father. I didn't know we were related at the time.
Oh,
Isn't that exciting?
that's very exciting.
The English keep very good records.
I'm just excited to hear from Chris. You know how long it's been since Chris has called us? I was afraid that Canada had forgotten we exist.
They probably want to forget we exist, like the entire EU.
Well, yes, that's true. We are banned from travel now to the EU.
God.
Well, you can't blame them.
It's a good thing I saved my $100 and some odd to get my passport renewed.
Yes.
Canada will probably be next.
Right.
Oh, Matt. You were talking about an exciting thing on the show today.
Was
think.
I? I was talking about an exciting thing?
Yeah. I heard it down on Elm Street.
Ooh, yes, that's still going on. So nobody knows still, right, why there's a speaker. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful that it's there. But for anyone who doesn't know, out on Elm Street, just a block or two down, there is a speaker that plays this station outside so that everyone on the sidewalk can hear it 24/7. So people on Elm Street are hearing me talk right now, and it's very mysterious. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows who controls that speaker. It's all a mystery. You might know. You probably know something you're not telling us, so because you know everything.
I heard it in my car.
You heard the speaker in your car, or you were
No,
listening
I
on the radio?
heard, I moved my car.
Oh.
And then I was going to drive home, but I realized I should probably take a pit stop.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling well.
I shouldn't have taken that hit off Donald Trump's crack pipe. You're the one who introduced me to Donald Trump's crack pipe.
I don't recall that.
Well, a few hits and you forget a lot of things, don't you, Matt?
Bobby Champagne says, I'd rather we all pull together to beat sobriety. A lofty goal.
Yeah, rehab's for quitters, right? In more ways than one.
Joe Friday says the best impression is that of his father, I think referring to Gonzo. How do you feel about Gonzo's impression of you? I feel that it's come a long way.
No.
He's got-
Roppy still has it better.
Well, she has a different approach to it. It's like with Trump. All these different people who do Trump impressions, they all kind of do it a little bit differently. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wayne Noel says, cycle of life, you're born, you live an amount of time, and then you die.
And then you're reborn.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Reincarnation.
You're reborn.
I'm just hoping that I get to the next level,
Right. What happens?
Say this is junior high. You get to go to the planet Kolob or something.
There's a planet Kolob?
That's Mitt Romney's planet.
This is very exciting. Oh, right, the Mormons. Yeah, because they get their own planet when they die, right?
Hey, you must have been excited with all the talk that Trump was going to drop out of the election. It sounded like something that you probably even placed in the media yourself.
I'm more excited about Kolob, but no, Trump's not dropping out. I know that it's out there. Oh, if the polls look bleak enough for him, he's going to drop out. He's not going to drop out. He's going to hang in for as long as he can, because what happens when he's not president anymore? You know what happens?
Gets indicted?
Yes, the state of New York will indict him. That's what happens as soon as he's no longer president.
I don't think it's just going to be the state of New York.
Well, but they're going to be at the top of the list.
There's going to be the attorney general. Then there will be like different countries.
Well, there is an arrest warrant out for him in Iran.
That was quashed.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interpol would not accept it.
Oh, well, that's a bummer. Why doesn't Interpol accept these arrest warrants? They should just play ball.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, he's not. You don't think there's any chance of him actually dropping out, do you?
He's not that smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean,
if the Republicans, somebody said on your show, or somebody texted about, they'd vote for Mitt Romney. I bet a lot of people would, but he's not going to become the Republican nominee, and there's no third party.
Well, no, if Trump were to drop out, the nominee would they would just let Pence be the nominee.
That's not
they?
true, because they haven't had the convention yet.
Yeah,
The
but
convention determines.
well, I know that, but wouldn't they just let Pence be the nominee? Wouldn't they?
He's not going to do any better than.
No, he'd probably still lose. But I'm just saying, though, wouldn't that be the logical?
Well, if it comes to where they're both nominated, the vice president does take over.
Mm-hmm.
But, these are weird times. If I was a Republican, I would be trying to get somebody else.
I mean, Reince Priebus tried to get Trump to drop out in 2016, and Trump wouldn't do it. Remember that?
Vaguely.
Reince apparently said,
I interviewed that
you're going to lose by the biggest landslide in history if you don't drop out.
And then Trump gave him a job and humiliated him.
Yes.
In the administration. He was the first one he humiliated.
Oh,
he
yeah.
paid him back. Huh?
Yeah. Well, he had Anthony Scaramucci come in and humiliate him, and then Anthony Scaramucci got himself fired. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is
it's a TV show.
Fascinating times in which we live. Brian Mackey says, poor John, all those rumors when he was a kid. Rumors when you were a kid. Wow. John Churchill Hopwood, Bobby Champagne says.
No, Spencer.
Oh, Spencer, yes.
It was Winston Spencer Churchill. He changed his name at public school, which of course meant private school, so he could be first on the line. That's the type of person he was.
Oh.
They're the Spencers.
President Trump will only drop out of the election if we make him king before November, LOL.
They just made Putin czar.
Oh, yeah. Now Putin, I think he can stay in office until like 2035, according to one report, 2036.
And they also banned gay marriage in Russia.
I didn't know it had been legal in Russia.
It wasn't.
Oh, but now it's
they just threw that in, with the whole package.
Right. Well, while you're at it, might as well, right? Because is being gay illegal? Being gay in and of itself illegal in Russia?
I don't know.
I know it's been persecuted in the past. Wasn't there a story about a gay Olympian in Russia who they kicked off the team, or I don't know? There was something like
Whenever
that.
you're going to read anything about Russia, of course, it's going to be, partly propaganda.
Yes,
like I don't
that's
really
true.
believe this stuff about the bounties.
Oh, you don't? You don't believe that story?
Oh, why would I?
I don't know. Why would you?
Why would I believe it?
Why wouldn't you believe it?
It just sounds like a bunch of crap.
You don't think it's true?
No.
Okay. Bobby Champagne says, could Dems be overplaying their hands again? Will 2016 repeat itself because Dems didn't learn anything? I don't think so. A big difference here is that Biden is so far ahead in the polls. Hillary never had this kind of lead. And historically, if you're this far ahead going into July, you're likely to win.
This isn't September polls where like Mike Dukakis was up 20 points. You raised something which was absolutely true because I looked it up. Hillary was not doing well in the polls in 2016, but the press, which despised Trump, underplayed it.
Yeah.
Matt Taibbi writes about that in his article last week. It was just a sidebar, but other people were talking about the polls, and you forget that she wasn't doing so well in polls. But
Right.
people, they're just alt liers. We're just going to ignore it because this guy can never be elected. I think Matt Connarton said that on his show.
Oh, that guy.
every week.
What does that guy know?
Well, I predicted that George W. Bush would be impeached because of
Right.
his war crimes, but that never happened.
Yeah, one of the very few people who did predict Trump's win was Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks. He said all along, and for kind of negative reasons, he said
Right.
he
hated Hillary.
Yeah, but he would have preferred Hillary, but
Right, but he did not. He didn't look at her with any rose-colored glasses.
Right.
'Cause some of us, like me, that should have known better, that get sucked in. You start ignoring the certain truths about her.
Right.
I mean, here's a person that said in 2008 she was going to incinerate everybody in Iran. It's like, gee. Right. And you think about it afterwards, how did I ever support her?
Right.
I know I got sucked into it literally. By
Oh,
vacuum.
well, that sounds like a story.
No, by political machinations. Nothing that had to do with that night with Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Uma.
Oh, Uma as well. Uma Abedin. Was this before she was married to Wiener?
No, it was during.
This was during the Wiener.
Yeah.
Was he
I think
there?
they're
too?
still married.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't remember hearing about them getting divorced. I think she had filed for divorce after he went to prison, but I don't know if they ever actually fully got divorced. Because you can file and then change your mind, obviously.
Yeah.
Bobby Champagne points out Trump does have a body of work to judge as well. Yeah. Boy,
Yeah, he's
that's,
got
that's true.
That hairdo and his pot belly just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big he is. Remember, according to Dr. Was it Borman? He's the healthiest president in the history of the galaxy.
But just this galaxy.
You've got to be, you've got to have some really good genetics. If you can get to that age on a steady diet of fast food hamburgers and not have colon cancer, there's something, you've got some good genes.
I don't believe that all that stuff either.
No?
It doesn't make sense.
Look at him, though.
Well, he looks like somebody under extreme stress.
Yeah.
That really puts on weight.
Oh, yeah. You've seen the video, right, of him...
Stumbling?
Sad Trump when he came back from that rally.
No. I try not to watch anything.
Oh, that's true. I've never seen him so sad. He gets off the helicopter and it's the only time I can think of where I've seen him genuinely look sad. Like he's coming off the helicopter and his head's kind of down and he just looks defeated. He looks like he just got kicked out of the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Do you know that I didn't know that TikTok was a Chinese application? It's been banned in India because it's being used for propaganda. Because the Chinese and the Indians they've had a war in '62, a very brief war. Chinese they just go in and they come out like in Vietnam. Because other than like Tibet, they're not into territory.
Ooh.
They took Tibet in '59, but
that's why there's so much COVID. It's exploding in India. The
Probably
Chinese gave India the Kung Flu. Ooh. Ha ha.
yeah, in other parts of the country, they all have their enemies and hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
Pakistani against Indians against Indians, if we want to use that term.
No, you have to be careful what terms you use these days.
Actually.
Of course, I was using Kung Flu ironically, so it's okay. Don't anyone get upset.
Geez, things aren't looking good.
No. Well, it's hard to believe, because everyone in the country is doing such a great job wearing masks and social distancing, and yet somehow.
Well, on the one hand, you're facing economic ruination, and you can't actually work with a mask on. You're typing.
Yeah.
Look at you told me to take off my mask when I'm on the radio show.
Well, yes, because
sauce for the goose,
you don't
sauce for the gander.
Yeah, well, mean, it does interfere when you sound like you have a mouthful of cloth.
Which I did.
Right, exactly. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Jenny sends hoppy hugs.
Hi, Jenny.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's kind of discouraging what it's going to be like in October when you get the flu season hitting with this.
Yeah, we'll probably have millions of Americans dead by then.
It's not something to look forward to.
No, but we reap what we sow.
I just don't understand living in a country that can't even make a fiber mask.
Mm-hmm.
South Korea, 10 days, had 5 factories.
Yeah.
Built 2 from scratch, took 3 over.
Yeah.
Put a military personnel in it. I mean, how hard is that to do?
Well, that's why I keep saying we're just not. I love my country, but this is one fight America is just not up for. We can't do what other countries have done. We just don't have it in us. We're anti-science. We have no discipline. It's,
Well, when I was at university, at Boston University, which had a great political science department, the mainstream political scientists, we research center-periphery relations, and which are relatively weak, like compared to Europe. And we're talking about 1978 to 82. This is before Reagan, and because for industry actually will thrive when there's standardization.
Mm-hmm.
Like if every car was, we're going to put this type of headlight, this, that, or the other thing. Well, it's just anarchy. And that actually affects how you can sell them or sell them internationally even.
Yeah.
But it's just like screws. Just something as simple as screws, and the thread on it and everything. You have to have standardization. Now, I'm simplifying that to a great degree.
Mm-hmm. And
we do have a federal system. Canada's provinces are more powerful than states in America. They have they're a weaker system in that regard.
Yeah.
But the central government is just deteriorated. It can't do anything except make war and make weapons.
Yeah.
It's obscene.
Yeah.
We've often talked about the military industrial congressional complex.
Right.
Eisenhower left that part out of the speech. He was asked to leave it out.
Yeah, yeah.
But, geez, on my show, I was talking about the $4.5 trillion orgy of corporate looting. Both parties signed off on.
Yeah.
You read that the Democrats put tens of millions of dollars into that bill to give bonuses to private intelligence companies. I mean, it's just friggin' unbelievable.
Yeah, and these loans that went out, which are forgivable, we're not even allowed to know who got the money.
That's democracy.
It's infuriating.
But I was talking on my show because we was talking about statues and stuff.
Yeah.
But Gonzo is going Gonzo.
Oh no.
But that
can be bad.
It can be fun too.
Yes, it can.
Then we got Vika on. She's depressed because my friend from Russia, American citizen, of what's just happened in the former Soviet Union.
Yeah.
In Russia.
Yeah.
But I said, let's divorce Black Lives Matter and their what I'd say legitimate demands in the movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I say white people, to use a term, have just piggybacked on them, and I used other terms, because rather than articulating their own a vision beyond like BLM and about police brutality and that, to an economic critique, which the New York Times, a piece said Bernie's failed twice, because even after being defeated, he wanted to get people organized to, why shouldn't we have universal health care right now?
Right.
With what we're facing now.
Right.
The people I read, some people go in, they get a COVID test, it's $100. Somebody got a $1,000 bill.
Oh my God,
it's
are
all
you serious?
Crazy stuff. And it's all irrational. But here we have people, everybody, your future, you don't have a future. I'm not, I sound like Jeff Cassell now,
Yeah,
about
he's very, very negative.
Yeah, and he always has been because of the
Yeah.
debt and everything.
Yeah, I know.
But how much? I agree with him that it's a Ponzi scheme. How much longer can the Ponzi scheme go on? Now China doesn't give a damn about the West. It just cracked down on Hong Kong. Geez, they arrested 300 people.
Oh, yeah.
There's an interesting story about that, but we won't go into it. But
And maybe that's a question you should ask China.
But you're looking at where there's a discussion over the months of what was going on, where you can't even get a mask,
Yeah.
and saying, well, maybe the industrial inputs, which means factories, ought to be closer to North America, like in Mexico or someplace. That's all dropped up because the New York Times and everybody, they're so pro free trade to a ridiculous degree, in my opinion. They're just going to thump the tub for that.
So in your opinion, too, is that also why we can't get tests? Because, for example, Brian Mackey in Idaho, he had a severe headache for like 3.5 weeks. He kept trying to get tests. He couldn't even get a COVID-19 test.
Well, that is a whole different issue.
It's maddening.
My sister was a nutritionist said, why did you get a test? It's 30% inaccurate. But,
Well,
you can get one.
But that's still, even 30% inaccurate, that's still 70% accuracy. That's still,
but that's not good.
It's not good. It's not good, but it's better than nothing.
But it's not good because you need one every week.
Yeah.
Really.
It's frustrating.
It's just, but China is, like I've said, people, Trump had some stuff I agree with.
Oh, sure.
He's a Democrat, a 2015 Democrat on free trade. You know what I mean? 2015.
Well, yeah, I've said all the time, you've heard me say it many times, the Republican Party was the party of free trade and no tariffs. And then Trump comes along and says, no, we're protectionists now. We're the party of tariffs. And the entire Republican Party just rolled over and said, oh, okay, I guess we're the party of protectionism and tariffs now.
But nothing really happened. You read Bolton's book. It's just a mishmash.
Well,
nothing. He hasn't done anything.
Well, except we're all paying more for certain things.
Yeah.
But nothing positive has come from it.
Right.
No.
We lost markets for like agricultural products. When they talk about farmers, they're talking about agribusiness.
Oh, yeah.
Farmers haven't existed really since the 70s.
Well, farming bankruptcies are at a record high or at an all-time historic high.
Well, that's going on in Vermont. Because there are farms that they can't market the stuff themselves.
Right.
They sell, and up in Vermont, this was before COVID.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Long
before. The
Yeah.
milk, because of imports. Mm-hmm. The garlic industry was wiped out in California, in Gilroy, California. When you come down from San Francisco to Monterey, you had to go through Gilroy, and you'd smell the garlic. Of course, it's now more valuable, that land, as a bedroom community for San Jose because of the explosion in population. But Chinese imports of garlic wiped them out, and then they created some type of trade rule or something. And then one of the companies just, they start cheating, and they're bringing it in anyways. But how do you have a country that's all just about retail? Everybody's in the retail industry.
Mm-hmm.
And look at what's the future of retail?
Well, Amazon's
a monopoly.
Amazon is hiring more people than ever.
Yeah, so
everybody can just go work at Amazon.
Yeah, you can work in one of those in one of those warehouses.
Yeah, yeah.
And make one guy who's got virtually a monopoly even richer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who's subsidized by many things from the federal government.
I'll say one good thing about Jeff Bezos: Trump hates him.
Trump hates everybody.
Yeah.
Except his family and a few people.
Right. He probably secretly hates them too. Do you think Trump is capable of love?
Yeah, sure. Hitler loved his dog Goldie.
Okay.
And I guess he loved Eva Braun.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
He did shoot her before he shot himself. Some people would say that was an act of love.
Right.
If you know anything about like aberrant psychology or something.
Right.
And no,
a crime
Trump is
of
not
passion.
Hitler. Of course he can love.
Bobby Champagne says, so does Biden, the debates will make a huge difference, and any poll before the conventions is kind of premature. Well, I don't think historically any poll before the conventions is premature. However, you've got your Trump bucks for those of you watching online. Historically, like I was saying, usually once you get into July, you kind of know, if someone has a sizable lead, you kind of know. If somebody has a close lead, then I think the debates make more of an impact. But we are I mean, so much of, the combination of what we're dealing with, all the things we're dealing with, and the Trump presidency, I feel like we are in uncharted waters. So who knows? The debates will be interesting. I mean, I just, I'm a Biden supporter, not enthusiastically, but I'll vote for whoever we need to get Trump out.
That sums it up beautifully.
It does, and it sums it up for a lot of people.
Sums it up,
which I think is why Biden will win. But I just hope that before those debates, whatever they did, I don't know if they shot him up with adrenaline, whatever they did to Biden before that last debate that he had with Bernie, which was by far Biden's best performance, I hope they do that before he debates Trump as well.
I don't think the debates are going to matter.
You don't think so?
The economy is going to be in even worse shambles. People are going to be dying by thousands a day.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you escape the reckoning?
That's true. Yeah.
He's shown no leadership at all.
No.
You have Rice, Susan Rice, you have Bolton, and with or without his mustache, Steve.
Right.
I mean, these are damning critiques.
Yeah.
They're unprecedented.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody attacked by so many people.
Right.
And virtually, how can you assail what they're saying about him?
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody botch everything up to a degree. He botched up everything.
I know.
Botched up unfair trade advantages and the loss of manufacturing jobs. He blew that.
Yeah.
And I'm no bleeding heart about immigration.
Yeah.
Which the Democrats weren't.
Right.
I'll distinguish that from refugees and that. But and if you want to have an Anschluss with Mexico, you have to do what the EU does: pour trillions of dollars into Mexico to bring their economy up, which the United States refused to do.
Right.
I mean, the maquiladoras, the factories they had on the border, the GM factory that they had with they made the best engine in the world in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But you don't do anything. When the EU expanded into Ireland, when it expanded into Portugal and Spain, they gave them economic aid to bring their economies up so they could be integrated. With us, it's just a place to exploit, and it's been that way forever. And everything he touches turns to dross, or Dreck, a German word, Dreck.
Dreck, yes.
I mean, he can't touch anything without it turning into Dreck.
I know. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you can be critical of any president, but some of the stuff could be a success.
But he maintains an 85% approval rating among Republicans.
Yeah, but that's insanity.
I know. That's his party now, and they love him.
Well, they're going to go down very badly.
I hope so. I want to see them punished. Because I want to see not only Trump lose, but I want to see all of his enablers punished.
Yeah, but then we get
for their spinelessness.
But then we get a Democratic Party headed by octogenarians.
Well, that is a problem. I know.
There's no
perfect
leadership
solution.
of even my age.
Yeah.
I'm 60.
Yeah.
Because this country is so fractured.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's falling apart. Russia fell apart. We'd be better off to be regions. I don't want Mitch McConnell in my pocket.
At least Mitch McConnell is telling people to wear a mask.
Those are just side issues.
I know, but
actually not.
It is significant, though, having the leader of the Republicans in the Senate saying, "Yeah, wear a mask."
Why is he saying that? When did he ever become rational?
It's just within the last couple of days he started saying it. Even on Fox News now they're saying it. Sean Hannity is saying it. Steve Ducey is saying it. But I mean, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference because you still walk around.
Because the president won't.
Well, right. And you still walk around out here, and it's like, what? What would you say? Like maybe 1/10 of people have masks on?
More than that. Less than
2/10?
third.
I'm frustrated.
I don't go out.
Definitely not a third.
I don't go to any
No.
restaurants or anything
No.
like that.
No.
I'd like to, but I just don't trust it.
Yeah.
But, if the president said, wear a mask, all the MAGAmites would be doing it.
That's all it would take. Yeah. But he won't do it.
Because when he turned against Fauci and everything,
Yep.
all of a sudden some of them that were wearing masks just take them off.
Not only, in fact, now that you mention it, not only does Trump refuse to wear one, he actually said at one point, I forget who he said it to. He said in an interview, I feel like people wearing masks are just doing it to show their disapproval of me. Thus sending a clear signal to all the MAGA people, don't wear a mask.
Well, I hate all that talk about, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask is something political. I mean, it's a legitimate subject to talk about.
It shouldn't
because
be political, but
it is.
Yeah.
But it's just sickening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, but I've gotten over any hostility they have about people that don't wear it.
I haven't.
It's the United States.
I can't get past it. I do. And I'm who I'm most hostile to? Not outwardly. I mean, I silently judge everyone as I'm walking around.
Is it a local Manchester person?
No, but the jerks who wear the mask, but they wear it to cover their chins. Because
I never saw that. I don't go out.
I do, and I see it a lot. And those people are the worst.
What's it about?
Because it's
sexual or something?
I don't know. I can't believe that all of them who do that are just so incompetent that they can't figure out.
Are they glory hole workers?
Oh, maybe. I think that I honestly think some of them are doing it just to be dicks. They're mocking the rest of us who are wearing masks. I really do. Why else would someone do that? Oh, people think you should wear a mask, so I'm going to put a mask on, but I'm not going to cover my nose and my mouth. I'm just going to cover my chin. I hate those people. Just so you know, anyone within the sound of my voice, if you're out there right now walking around with a mask and you're just using it to cover your chin, I hate you. I hate you.
Do you really hate them?
Yeah, I actually really do. I legitimately hate them.
Well, they are a threat to people you love.
Yes.
They are.
I'm not going to go so far as to say I hate people who refuse to wear a mask. I think they're ignorant and selfish. But anyone who wears a mask, but you wear it to cover your chin, because I know what you're doing. You're mocking the rest of us, and you suck, and I hate you. I do. I hate you. If you're walking around out there right now with a mask on your chin, you are a horrible person. Just so you know. And I hope you hear me in your nightmares telling you how much you suck and how much I hate you. And it's real. It's visceral hatred.
Are you going to cut this into one of those, small spots that you used to put up? You don't do that as much anymore.
I haven't had time, but maybe I will. Yes, maybe I will.
Yeah.
It's going to send that hate out into the universe.
It seems like we're heading to a real disaster. We're in a disaster, and we're heading to a worse one.
Oh, the way this is spiking all over the country, except in the north. We are fortunate in that I'm grateful for. We are in a part of the country that's doing pretty well, especially considering Massachusetts at one point. Mass was actually the epicenter of this. They were doing worse than anybody. But Charlie Baker, much like our governor, Sununu,
a Republican.
Yeah, Charlie Baker also, he in Massachusetts has done an exemplary job with this. And thank God, between Charlie Baker and our governor, Chris Sununu, Republicans who have refused to give in to the very large and influential conspiracy theory wing of the Republican Party. They have refused to give in to these people who say it's a hoax or it's just the flu. It's not a big deal. They have not given in to them, and thank God for that.
Well, Baker's a technocrat. He's from that type of Republican.
Oh, sure.
Romney was like that, too.
Yeah.
And the Sununus have no love for Trump.
Right, yeah.
And they're technocrats, too.
Yeah.
They're people that, it was a different type of Republican.
Yeah.
But they could do the old man could do naughty things.
Yeah, well, Chris Sununu is not his father, that's for sure.
Well, he is in a way, but it's
John Sununu much more conservative. I mean, even my dad, when I was a kid, I remember my dad would say that John Sununu was a fascist. But Chris Sununu, I mean, he's more your standard northeastern moderate Republican. I mean, I've been so pleased, and I disagree with him on some things, but if he runs for re-election, I very well might vote for him. Even after I said I wouldn't vote for any more. But once Trump is gone, maybe I'll rescind my I'll never vote for a Republican again anyway.
Well, I think he's going to win because
You think Trump's going to win, or you think Chris Sununu will win when he runs for re-election?
I think Chris Sununu's going to win.
Yeah. But is he even going to run for re-election?
Chris Sununu is. What do you mean?
Is he definitely?
Yeah,
When is our? See, I forget because we have
September.
these 2-year terms. So he's up this year.
Yeah,
I lose track because these short 2-year. Do you like that we have 2-year
No,
terms?
we should have 4 years.
Right. It's only us in Vermont
Senators
at this point,
should be
right?
4 years too.
Is it? It's us in Vermont, right? We're the only 2 states left that have 2-year.
Yeah, but at
gubernatorial
least
terms?
Vermont has a real democracy where they have multiple parties.
Yeah.
New Hampshire, we won't go into that.
Yeah.
I'm bitched about that enough. It's an incompetent government. It just doesn't work.
But I'll vote for Chris Sununu for re-election. I
You
will.
want to vote for Dan Feltz?
I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Sununu has the name.
Right.
Father won 3 elections. The brother won more than 3 elections. I mean, he won Senate once and a couple of congressional terms, 2 or 3. It's a well-known name. Valinsky went into the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incum-
Andrew Valinsky. He's a liberal.
Incumbency is such a huge advantage here.
Oh, it's raining.
I mean, it's an advantage. And incumbency is always an advantage, but here especially.
Until the Trump Republican Party, incumbency was a great advantage in Congress, too. It's like over 90% of them got reelected.
Oh, yeah.
But nowadays, it's like, holy criminy. But, yeah.
Ooh, Tom Blanchard said in the Facebook live chat, hi, Tom. He said, I saw somebody who refused, I saw somebody was refused entry into a Goffstown hardware store. It was great.
I was going to go there.
He went storming off back to his car and peeled out. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad they're actually enforcing it somewhere.
I honestly believe, though, there should be masks available at businesses and stuff and anywhere you want to go.
That would help.
Because, my masks are I'm towards the end of them.
Oh, well, there's plenty of places you can get them now. I mean, they are readily available for
free.
purchase. They should be free.
Or, if you go into a place.
Oh, listen to you.
one.
Free masks, you socialists.
Free healthcare.
Free healthcare, free masks. Why don't you, maybe a free pony? Why don't you just vote for Vermin Supreme?
He ran a very bad campaign this time.
He's still in it.
Ego inflation.
Mm-hmm.
When he started acting like, when he became a libertarian and won the primary because there was no primary. I guess people just got together. He didn't even do a good job this year. Satirizing. Of course he's old, we all get old. You lose your step.
Right.
Yeah. But, the Democrats are going to win big in New Hampshire. But, this is New Hampshire. It doesn't seem like the general court ever does anything.
Chris H. Space from the band Edgewise, who is happy to see me wearing the shirt, of course. He posted a link in the Facebook live chat, maybe a good sign for our area. It's from the WMUR website. Manchester sees 2-week decline in new COVID-19 cases. And this went up. This went up today, this afternoon. That's good. City officials urge residents to continue taking precautions. Well, I don't see too many precautions being taken, but at least we're like I said, the Northeast. This is a good place to be right now, and this is the one part of the country where we seem to be really getting this under control. But everywhere else, man,
who knows how long it's going to last, though?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, at least we're trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
Bobby Champagne says, referring to those loans that went out to all the businesses that, we're not allowed to know who got them. He said, those loans remind me of the teacher in high school that used the honor system to get stolen items returned. LOL, that never worked either.
I thought it would remind me of something Hillary Clinton did at the pizza parlor.
Ooh, my goodness. Well, Stephen Philbrook joins us in the Facebook live chat. He says, Trump does love his fast food. Oh, yeah. Trump loves fast food so much, he's willing to share it with professional athletes when these sports teams go to the White House. He'll feed them lots of Burger King and Pizza Hut.
I thought those were just anecdotal.
No. That's what professional athletes eat.
Sure, they're multi-millionaires.
That's how they stay in shape.
Yeah, right.
Whoppers and Big Macs and
Yeah,
pizza.
it keeps you in perfect shape
It-
for the
yeah.
contest.
Yes, yes. How else do you win a Super Bowl?
So what's going to happen with the Republican National Convention now that Jacksonville has passed an ordinance that you have to wear a mask?
Well,
That seems... He's the president, right?
he'll probably sign an executive order overriding their mask decree.
Can't do that. He can't do that to a state
Yeah,
or a locality.
Yeah.
He couldn't go to... He canceled that trip to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Big baby.
I know.
Big baby's going to get in a fight. That was a lyric in a Devo song. But oh, yeah, I know this song. Mr. B's Ballroom.
Well, he can't. So he can't have the rally in a place where they have to wear masks because he's already said that if you wear a mask, that means you're against him. What does one do? He's in a terrible quandary. Quite the catch-22. Maybe this will be his excuse to drop out. Maybe he will drop out after all.
They'll just anoint him.
I can't have my convention now. Apparently,
They could crown him like he's Pope. Something like
Ooh,
that.
That would be exciting. Although he isn't Catholic, he's Presbyterian.
As every one of the Magamites says, that rally that was meant to coincide with the Juneteenth
Yes.
and the city that had the worst race riot and loss of life of African Americans in history.
No dog
that we
whistles
know
there.
of.
Right.
Yes, although it was just a coincidence.
Right. Oh, of course.
It was
yes.
actually a great success because it had high ratings, man, on the television.
Right.
So
And he made Juneteenth famous. No one had ever heard of it before, according to him.
Yeah, I'll have to, I've heard of it, but I don't know. He probably did make it famous, more famous,
Right.
in states that don't have major African American populations.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of what I said to Jenny. I said, Trump isn't totally wrong about that because I'm sure there are quite a few MAGA people who had no idea what Juneteenth
Not
was
just
who
MAGA
now know.
People like the Midwest,
Yeah,
places.
yeah. Places.
New Hampshire.
Right.
Well, Nashua had a celebration for 2 years, but that was recent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I first heard about it. I think it was in Texas or the Army.
Bobby Champagne said, "I'm afraid Biden will lose before Trump will win." That's all I'm saying.
We could run that cutout of Peter White and he'd win.
Ooh. Is he?
I don't know if we could run Daryl because the
No.
Daryl we don't want to lose because on TV it's so mesmerizing.
Not with that mustache. He can't be president.
That could be Steve.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. Steve, John Bolton's evil mustache might have left John Bolton and affixed himself to Daryl.
Yeah, I'm sure it's through for his presidential because he looks a lot like Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, that's true.
And it's Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes.
Franklin Roosevelt.
Right.
Fourth cousins.
Right.
Different pronunciation of their name.
Oh,
Most people don't know that. Yeah.
Brian Mackey is saying hello to someone named Clem T. Webb. Hello, Clem.
That sounds like a real name. Clem T. Webb. Well, it could be.
Well, in some
W-E-B-B.
in some parts of the country, I'm
Jim
sure
Webb
there's quite a
was a
few
senator.
Clems. Yeah, that's true.
Clem Cadiddlehopper.
And Brian Mackey also says hello to Michael Baker. So hello, Mr. Baker. Bobby Champagne says, Matt, you're spewing. I don't mean to spew. Oh,
Spewing vile, Veritrol.
I think that's what he meant.
Vitriol.
I think my thing about the people wearing masks for chin straps.
Yeah, but you have a right.
I do. I have a right.
And you have a show.
I have a right to wish death on people I hate.
I didn't hear you wishing death on them.
I kind of implied it though, because I hate them so much.
What happened to the?
But I never did wish death on them. No, that is true.
What happened to the death ray Ryan Gorman was supposed he was going to outfit the studio with?
Yeah, whatever happened to Ryan Gorman?
The death ray or Ryan Gorman himself? Maybe that's the answer. That the death ray.
We haven't seen Ryan in quite some time. I hope he's all right.
Is that Ryan Gorman?
No, we haven't seen him.
Is he going to be on the morning show tomorrow?
Ryan Gorman?
Or is that Gonzo?
It's Gonzo will be on the morning show.
Gonzo.
Maybe it'll sound like you're there because he'll be doing his impression of you.
Ryan Gorman?
No, of you.
I don't think Peter will go for that.
Probably not. Bobby Champagne says the Sununus are as different as the times they governed. That's a good insight. Yes.
Yeah, because John Sununu was actually competent.
What?
Because I know somebody that worked for him.
You don't
Chris
think Chris
Sununu was kind of a joke. He's just an amiable boo.
Oh, I didn't realize that you felt that way about him. I thought you agreed. I thought you agreed with me that he was that he had been exemplary. Oh no, but I thought you agreed with me that he had handled this well, the current crisis.
I didn't really say that, but
Oh,
I didn't disagree either.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a
true.
politician. I guess,
I guess
right down the middle.
I guess I assumed.
Oh, he's notorious for being, where his father was.
Oh,
You put something to father, you only had to tell him once.
yeah.
He knew, boom. He had a great brain. It might not be politically or ideologically what you want. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was John Sununu. I remember when I was a kid, there was I think it was a magazine published here in New Hampshire that declared him the smartest governor in the country.
Well,
He
taught at MIT, didn't
because
he?
doesn't he have a just to be clear again, we're talking about John Sununu.
The father.
Doesn't he have a genius level IQ?
Yeah, so do I. That doesn't mean I'm smart.
But you are. I say that all the time.
Yeah, but Jeff Cassell says there's no IQs over 160, and Sununu claims he has 190.
Mm.
Who knows? We can't talk about IQ anymore.
Why not?
Them's fighting words.
Oh.
Mm.
Tom Blanche. Oh, I already read that comment actually because I saw it on the other
Read it
screen.
again.
It is a great comment. I am glad that there's somewhere that's actually enforcing the mask policy instead of just putting up a sign and then they just let everybody in anyway. And then half the employees aren't wearing masks, and then the half that are wearing them on their chins.
Would you have flying squads that shoot people without masks?
I like that idea.
Early Nazi Germany?
Drones.
Put people to work.
Drones with lasers that shoot out of them.
Well, Vermin
Yes.
Supreme lied to me that he said that he was going to rebuild the old man in the mountain and put a graffiti cannon that would barf out confetti onto Vermont, and that would have lasers shooting out of its eyes.
Why would it be barfing out the confetti to turn Vermont gay?
He never really explained that.
Oh, okay.
part.
Because I saw him do that to Randall Terry, but with glitter. That was at that 2012.
I guess it was
forum.
glitter he was talking about.
He and this is true, by the way. The video is on YouTube. I was there. I saw this happen live when he turned Randall Terry gay by dumping glitter all over him. He glitter bombed him. It was very funny.
Well, the word gay used to mean like pleasantly, funny and happy.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello to Bill Boyles from Idaho. He says hello for a short time. He's going to be in and out today.
In and out.
Bobby Champagne says a lot of professional athletes are kids in their early 20s and eat fast food all the time. Just saying. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was sort of kidding.
I don't know. I've never seen. Yeah, they do have a spread in their place where but
a spread in their place.
well, when you go into the locker room, they have a spread.
Oh, I thought maybe
It's
that was
cold cuts and crap.
I thought that was some sort of football terminology or something. We
I-
gotta throw the ball on the spread or something. I don't know anything about.
No, it's a
sports.
point spread.
Oh, a point.
We're talking, that's betting.
Oh.
No, I haven't been in one of those places since the 90s because they used to give you booze. Journalists used to get booze and a free spread.
Ah.
Now they charge you $17 at the Fenway.
Oh. 17 for a spread?
No, you're there and you eat.
Oh, right.
Part of being a journalist was you're being bribed to write good stuff
Oh,
about
of
the
course.
team
Of
by
course.
liquoring you up, which makes it easier to write, and giving you free food. I mean, it's not the greatest stuff, but the players really didn't have the greatest stuff either. Yeah, they used to eat candy, all sorts of crap.
So you're getting an endorsement in the Facebook live chat. Bobby Champagne says, "Can we run John Hopwood and beat Trump, though?"
I'm already running for office.
Oh, that's right.
I can't remember what it is,
Sure.
but it's something.
Brian Mackey says his friend Clem is from Texas.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Where in Texas?
So I have a friend, Billy Ray Joe Jim Bob from the Lone Star State.
Mm.
Uh,
My friend must have had his kid by now. Although technically his wife would have had the kid. Becoming a father at 60 years old.
Joe Friday says hello to Clam C. Bake and to Booby C. Wow.
You're really attracting the weirdos now, huh?
Stefan says, I think Manchester should set an example and have masks mandatory and testing mandatory and
Manchester.
Like, get our S together and make an example. Well, that's not going to happen.
Manchester's the unsafest place in all of New Hampshire.
Well, we're the largest city.
That doesn't mean it has to be the unsafest place.
No.
Los Angeles isn't the unsafest place in California.
Oh.
I was just reading the statistics came out.
Bobby Champagne says we are small enough to pull that testing and masks easy enough.
Oh, come on. This is Manchester. Live free or die, baby.
Yes. Well, here, I think the motto of the USA is live free and die. That's kind of the country's motto right now.
Can you cut in a laugh track?
No. There you go.
I'll be ready for it next time.
Beaumont, Texas is where his friend Clem is from.
Oh.
Well,
yeah.
we should we'll take a break because we're well past the top of the hour. We need to show some love for our wonderful sponsor, the Hop Knot. Do you have a song request, John?
I fought the law, but you won't allow that.
Why not? Why wouldn't I allow that?
I like the one by The Clash.
There's no swears in that, right?
No, not at all. I have to, are we still on the air?
Yes.
I have to go do something.
No, take your time. All right. John Opwood's going to go do something. I'm going to play I Fought the Law by The Clash. He wants that to be his theme song, but that's not his theme song because his theme song is Out of Touch by Hall & Oates, as you're all aware. But I'll play this and probably something else, and we'll be back. And I don't know where John is going, but I assume he'll be back as well. You're listening to Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live on WMNH. More to come.
Doctors. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Z. So many myths about masks. Let's just talk about them real quick, okay? And get through everything. Do they lower oxygen levels in people. It sure feels like it, doesn't it? When you put a mask on, first of all, it's all awkward, but you feel like you're not getting enough air. A lot of people do who aren't used to masks. Now, but what does the science say about this? Well, there's been plenty of people looking at this, and it turns out it doesn't affect your oxygen levels at all. We're really good at extracting oxygen from the air. Even if you have a disease like asthma or COPD or something like that, people can generally tolerate masks without any problem with oxygen levels. So we can check that one off. Carbon dioxide. So this is something we exhale that we're trying to get rid of. And do the masks cause us to keep more CO2 in? And it's like a toxin, it's a poison, right? No, they don't. It feels like it because you're breathing out warm, moist air, and it feels like it's sitting there. And when you breathe it in again, it feels like you're breathing in your own carbon dioxide. But the truth is, a lot of that air is going out the sides of the mask, going through the mask. It's just a little harder because the mask is actually filtering particles of certain sizes. That's how it works. It protects other people from you and protects you from other people's particles to a degree. So does it raise your carbon dioxide levels? There is no evidence that it does. Now, think of it this way. If you don't believe that sort of nerdy science, surgeons, doctors, people who are on their feet all day for hours at a time with masks, nurses, surgical techs, they're not dropping dead of high CO2 levels. They're not dropping dead of low oxygen levels. And in fact, they're not dropping dead of other diseases out of proportion to the rest of the population. So this idea that somehow masks prevent you from developing your immune system is nonsense. That's total malarkey. And the reason is we're exposed to bacteria and viruses all the time because we're not wearing the mask 24/7. And all growing up, you've developed an immune memory from your exposure to things. Wearing a mask in public places when you can't socially distance, right, which is when we should be wearing them, is not going to affect your immune system at all, except for the positive in that you're not exposed to things that might kill you, i.e., COVID, the coronavirus, okay? So this is actually legit. Now, let's talk about the efficacy of masks. I have resisted masks from the beginning for the public because there isn't a robust body of data that says that they work in the general population. But the absence of evidence doesn't mean that there's evidence of absence of effect. It's very feasible that these things actually can bend the curve for this infection by preventing you from spreading droplets and aerosols to some degree and preventing you from breathing them in. So the reason I've started to embrace masks is, look, bro, I get it. I know you don't like masks. I hate them because we're Americans. We are free to go out in public, go on our trails, go into stores without having our face covered with a mask, right? That should be the case. But the thing is, our freedoms are affected by when we have to lock all this down to protect our most vulnerable, when we grind the economy to a halt. And it turns out if we just do three things, try to keep our distance from people when we can, wear a mask when we can't, and wash our hands, that may be all it takes to get our freedoms back. And I think that's powerful. I'm willing to use masks even if they're not 100%, even if they maybe barely work. If it allows us to open up again and control this thing, save lives, but also save freedom, it's worth doing because everything else about masks that we've been talking about here is a myth. All right, guys, do me a favor. Share the video. Just do this one thing. I know it sucks. And we can have our stuff back. All right? That's what I think. All right, I love you. We out. Z-Dog.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street. Welcome back, everybody. We are way into hour number 2 at Numero Dos. We are live. Matt Connarton unleashed From the studios of WMNH 95.3 in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, where it's very wet, pouring rain. We're also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. John Hopwood is here as well at the news desk.
Howdy.
And if you want to get in with a call, there is still time. We got about 30 minutes left. 603-250-6007. 603-250-6007. You can also send a text to 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@ipmnation.com. But the best thing to do is give us a call so we can hear your dulcet tones at 603-250-6007. So,
Speaking of news,
news.
isn't it interesting that President Trump announced that he wanted American troops out of Afghanistan by Election Day, and the Pentagon supposedly drawing up the plans for the withdrawal. Now we get this report that a Russian intelligence unit secretly offered a bounty on U.S. troops, which, as some journalists portray, well, Russia's driving the Americans out of Afghanistan because of Trump. I mean, isn't it a little too much?
So you don't believe it?
No.
Mm.
It's just too. It just fits the scenario so well, you know.
Well, I have something genuinely shocking to share in a moment, but first, I want to take a moment to remind everyone that Trivia Night is back at the Hop Knot. I don't know if you're aware of this, John Hopwood.
It is.
Stump Trivia. It returned last week, and it is going on tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. You don't have to make a reservation to join. In-person trivia is back at the Hop Knot Wednesday nights. Have never been better. Join us for a 2-hour-long game of free fun trivia beginning at 7. We will be using our new digital scoring system. Each team will designate a team captain to submit answers on your team's behalf. No need to write anything down by hand, no need to stand up, and no need to turn in a paper answer slip, which is very, very good. So remember, venue capacity may be limited, so get there early.
What do you win?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe that's a trivia question. Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. You would do very well at that. Have you ever considered going on Jeopardy or a show like that? I think you would do very well. I think you would be very successful. I think you would win millions of dollars.
I doubt it.
Oh, well, with that attitude, mister.
There are some categories I have no knowledge of.
Oh, okay.
I used to win Trivial Pursuit all the time because they used to have Beatles questions.
Oh, okay.
Tons of them in
Yeah.
like pop category, whatever it was.
Yes, yes.
And I knew everything about Beatles trivia, so that helped a lot.
Well, this is shocking news. This is from my favorite website, rightwingwatch.org. Are you familiar with End Times broadcaster Rick Wiles? We've discussed him on the show before.
Yeah, I thought we already were in the end of times and went passed by.
Well, there's an update on this. Apparently, he is taking his ministry deep underground by the end of this month because America's judgment is near.
By underground, do you mean he's going to go into a bunker, or he's just going to become like the weather underground, terrorists? Is he going to become a terrorist?
I doubt
to
that.
bring about
How
the end of times.
Dare you?
Because Trump, as the Antichrist, seems to be he's done a great job at it.
Right.
But, he's faltering recently.
Yes, yes. Well, here, we'll hear what Rick Wiles has to say in his own words.
I told you last year that True News would be going underground.
Ooh.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
He's selling.
We're going to make a major change here within weeks.
No doubt.
In the month of July, I'm going to take this ministry behind the wall.
Ooh.
I don't want to talk to people who don't want to know about Jesus.
I know what that means, behind the wall. In other words, he's going to establish a paywall So if his show is currently free, now you're going to have to pay for it to hear the good news about how Trump is our new Lord and Savior or whatever it is that he's saying. Yeah, that must be what he means.
Good news.
Yeah, the good news.
The good news.
With
all
a cap.
caps.
Yes, the good news.
I've had to deal with that for 20 some years. An audience, I got a split audience. One desperate to hear the word of the Lord.
And
The other
no money.
part of the audience, all they want to do is feed on corn husk.
That's the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're feeding on corn husk, it's because you're a freeloader. You got to pay for your
To
salvation.
You have to show the Lord that
That's
you're
right.
serious.
That's right. That's right.
And you'll be rewarded.
Yes.
tenfold.
Oh, yes. Yes.
They just want news, more news. I'm going to tell you right now, within weeks, sometime in the month of July, we're shutting off the public stream. We're going dark as far as the public is concerned in the month of July. This is the cry that America's judgment is near.
Oh.
We will only speak to the body of Christ that desires, that has ears to hear.
That, by the way, now I'm not. This may shock you, but I am not a master theologian. I think you've studied this more than I have. So tell me if I have this right. Didn't Jesus say something like that? Like, if somebody doesn't want to hear the word of my Father, just F him. I won't bother with him.
Well, there really wasn't a Jesus per se.
Whoa, what?
His real name was. I don't think I can reveal it.
Oh, okay.
It's close to the first name.
Was it Drumpf?
Of our fourth president.
Oh.
Yeah, the first name.
Mm-hmm.
But the Eucharist, what's happening at the so-called Last Supper, because it's all coded language. The idea that this Jesus, this prophet, was a carpenter is ridiculous. A carpenter, like you have the T square, that symbolizes hermetic, esoteric knowledge. Everybody knows that. What's going on is
You might be
Christ
throwing the term everybody around a bit loosely, but
is a specific psychedelic mushroom. And when you're eating, and just as the native indigenous peoples of South America and North America, with their hallucinogenic mushrooms, said they were the flesh of the gods. That's the Eucharist. You're eating that, and you're going on a wild trip. You must have read the Gospel of St. Thomas, where Christ is, like an alien from another world, zapping people, creating birds out of clay, and all sorts of wild stuff. Which, my father did believe, Jesus was an alien. Not the type, we're not talking about illegal or undocumented.
I was going to say,
alien.
was he in the country legally?
We're talking about somebody like from Arcturus,
Oh.
which I guess
That sounds very foreign.
that's the Red Star. Right?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, then we get to the Bolshevism and
Oh, my-
all this
wow.
stuff. Russia, Putin,
Yes.
and Donald Trump. But when you're talking about Jesus, you're talking about a hallucinogenic mushroom.
But you don't dispute that he was pro-Second Amendment, certainly.
They didn't. Are you talking about slingshots?
What?
Like little David had?
Oh, right. Okay.
I think they had gunpowder in China at the time. In China.
Are you saying? I hope you're not saying he was Chinese.
Which one are we talking about? There's as many Jesuses as there's as much consciousness.
Oh my goodness! Thank you for coming in and putting all of our salvation at risk with your blaspheme.
Blaspheme my ass.
Ugh.
Hey, in
Whoa!
Oregon, they're about to
Wow.
legalize hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good thing. Well, as you know, I oppose the drug war.
Yes, you do.
I do. Yes.
And Jesus would have been against the drug war, too, seeing that he was, incorporeal or some type of being. I almost used F-bomb there.
Oh, my.
Well, let's face it, the Eucharist originally was a hallucinogenic mushroom.
Boy, see, I would have been more excited
Like
if I'd known
psilocybin?
that, going up and doing that on Sunday. I was raised Catholic, as you know.
Yes, but
I never drank the wine.
That's a song by Eric Burden and War.
Drink the wine. Yeah.
That had a very religious overtones.
Yes.
Yeah, he took more acid trips than John Lennon, reputedly.
Oh my goodness. Stefan says Jesus would have supported universal health care. How dare you, Stefan, say that about Jesus was a patriot and he loved America.
Jesus would never. First of all, he's a mushroom.
Right.
A mushroom has conscious. A conscious mushroom.
Okay.
And why would he support universal health care when he can heal you or zap you or whatever?
Right.
We're talking about a supernatural being.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about, Jeff Hunter running around in sandals.
You're not the only one who's
some
blasphemed
Hollywood
today. That's for
movie.
sure. Right.
Right,
Yeah. Well,
Jesus was a shroom.
Well, let's hear a little bit more from. You are the only one I've ever heard say anything.
You never heard of
like
Terrence
that.
McKenna?
No.
This isn't wow. We can talk about that some other show.
Yeah. That's curious to hear more.
That's a 50. The guy who worked on the Dead Sea Scrolls came up with that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear a little bit more of what Rick Wiles has to say.
Oh, yeah.
There's no point in me doing this day after day after day. What is the point of it? To sit here all day long and tell you how bad the Supreme Court is? The reprobates. What do you say after that? So we are going into an emergency mode.
Oh.
We're locking down.
Emergency mode.
We're not quitting. I'm just going deep underground.
Deep underground.
That time has arrived.
Wow.
Those who want to stay with me, with this ministry, we will give you instructions of how you can access this ministry every day.
Tell us your Venmo, Rick.
The rest, you're on your own.
That's very godlike of him.
You're on your own. Save yourself. Oh, my goodness. Brian Mackey says, yes, John, but if we had universal health care, Jesus wouldn't have to walk so much to heal folks. Now, that is a great point and very considerate. Stefan says, that's right. JC was like David Copperfield and Chris Angel, maybe.
That's very racist to talk about him that way.
Is
if
it?
there was somebody, it'd be like Yeshua ben Yosad would be an Essene rabbi who, we're dealing with a mythological figure.
I prefer to think of him as white with long hair, resembling a member of Leonard Skinnerd. That's how I like to think of Jesus. But again, I was raised in a good Catholic home.
It was John Allegro in 1970, The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross.
Oh.
He argued that Christianity began as a shamanistic cult. Oh, yeah. It makes more sense than all this ridiculous stuff in these synthetic books that were cobbled together from here, there, and everywhere. Remember the Dead Sea Scrolls? The Dead Sea Scrolls were just ignored by mainstream Christianity.
That came up on the show recently by someone else.
Was it Gonzo?
I don't think so. Who was I discussing that with? It might have been Jenny. The Dead Sea Scrolls, but we're not allowed to see what's in them, right? Or are we?
It's taken a long time. Well, people have photographed them. They have to be translated.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very tightly controlled.
Yeah.
But
who controls that? The Vatican?
No.
No?
It's that there's an institute in Israel. What do they call it? We'd have to prepare for that show.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I don't know why I thought it was the Vatican, and maybe I got that from a Dan Brown book or something.
Ooh. Well, you can't go wrong there for your history.
Brian is asking you to explain what you mean by synthetic books.
Come on. You don't know? He doesn't know what synthesis means? You take a part from here, you take a part from there?
Well, not everyone believes that that's it sounds like you're
well, that's what happened. I mean,
I was just reflecting on we had one of the great arguments that has happened over the course of this program, a particular day when a good friend of mine was on the show who did not. It's hard to see that from here.
Well, you can't.
Oh, it's a
zoom,
mushroom.
you can't zoom in.
I can't. I have
That's
no way
right.
to zoom
We're not
in.
on the TV.
I see a mushroom.
Yeah, that's the face of Jesus. Amanita muscaria,
Ah,
a hallucinogenic mushroom.
right. Wow.
Yes, if you look at the Bible, it's synthetic. It's not organic. It's just cobbled together from pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Here, there, to, you agree, to make your case.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just throw other parts out that they don't like.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of the great things about religion is you can just pick and choose whatever fits your ideology, and then just reject whatever you don't like. So you can be a Christian, but just reject all the Jesus stuff about helping people and being nice to people and not judging, and you can just ignore all that.
Who
You get to love Jesus, but also ignore him.
do you love Jesus?
I do, actually. I think he was a great dude.
You think there actually was somebody?
Well, there may
That
have
it's
been.
not. That's
There may have been a rabbi named Jesus.
Well,
who was
Jesus is
very
not
influential.
what is his
But you
name?
don't believe Jesus was a real person at all. is
Well,
what
there
you're
could have
saying.
been somebody there.
Yeah, yeah. But not an actual. You don't believe there was an individual.
I don't believe that the person that this myth was hung on was God.
Do you think Jesus? Well, no, I don't. Right, but
Could
do you
be
think?
somebody like the Buddha?
Do you think he might have been a composite of different people who then became in the Bible? Become Jesus, but it's actually a few different people who just kind of got meshed together in the book.
It's cobbled together.
Yeah.
It's translated how many times?
Because in theory, and again, I forgive me if these questions are obtuse, but I speak from ignorance. I remember
I'm not that.
I remember
know that much either.
Well, but you know more than I do, and I was raised Catholic, but I haven't been to church in a long time. But is it possible that the Gospels, the four Gospels, is it possible that it's not all even the same? Like they're not all written necessarily about the same individual. You get what
who
I'm
is it
saying,
written
right?
about? There's questions about who it is,
Right.
and it depends on where you're coming from and who you're you are.
Because there are inconsistencies in the stories. The four stories are not identical.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not even. Are they even contemporary? Matthew's contemporaneously, allegedly.
Oh yeah.
Then there's Luke, and what's the other one? The two big ones, Luke and Mark.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Mark and Luke have their relationship to the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is like the being like an original material, and it's just been synthesized. It's like any type of translation exercise. If you have to do anything with translation, I had a song at the beginning of my show that Bertolt Brecht wrote for the Three Penny Opera, but it's a translation. I can read the German, and it's nowhere near like the words or anything.
Really?
And there's all different translations, like the famous Blitzstein one from the 50s. It has to be bowdlerized.
Yeah.
And it's like the song was it's second Three Penny finale when they ask what keeps mankind alive, and McKeith, who's the murderer, Mac the Knife, Mackie Messer in German, he says what keeps mankind alive, the fact that millions are daily tortured, silenced, punished, and oppressed. Mankind can keep alive thanks to its brilliance in keeping its humanity repressed. Mankind is kept alive in bestial acts. But there's that translation when he says by keeping its humanity repressed. It's actually in the German. It's by keeping his sense of inner humanity. And there's all sorts of plays. But in any translation and then they talk about food comes before morals because he was a communist, Brecht. Great poet, one of the most significant dramatists of the 20th century. But, he was ideological. But when you translate it, Brecht is talking about the great bread of life. What does that mean? The großen Brotlieb, that doesn't translate into English. So you have to make all sorts of compromises. You have to put it in your own language that people can understand. It's got to be of its era. Because the 1976, where you're talking, instead of using bordello, they use the word whorehouse rather than bordello, which is which is German, borrowing from French. But or you read a short story by Chekhov and translate it, and it's completely different. The whole rhythms and everything. So you're telling me a Bible that's cobbled together from all these different pieces, put together, and with all these people debating,
right,
what's real, what's not, which they all have their own agendas. And then there's the Geneva translation into English in the 1560, but then you get the King James version where they have all these people, and it's great artistry. It's beautiful, a lot of it. Yeah, you think they're all, every one of them is inspired to translate into this is the word of God. Makes no sense.
Right. I know.
But see, the Dead Sea Scrolls, there it is. It's like there's the original text or whatever. But I mean, I've translated anybody that's dealt with Middle English. You can they have stuff where after 700 years, I'd say 500 years of translation, now they say the word means something else. Because Shakespeare, of course, is modern English.
Our internet just went out.
Oh, how sad.
We're still on. I mean, we're still on the air on FM and on I assume on channel 97, but our internet feed just went down.
I assume there was somebody there, He was from. I would like to think of that person as a Buddha type of person.
Right.
But
well,
this
will still be in the podcast. It doesn't look like we're online. Huh.
I really find that when people start talking about this is a person that's so well defined. When there's hardly if Jenny was here, she could help us.
Yeah.
I think there's two references. Josephus, who was a Hebrew who allegedly would have known people that would have known that era, mentions him, and there is a Roman historian afterwards that talking about Nero burning down Rome and the early Christians, and mentions Christ.
Stefan said in the Facebook live chat, Jesus is like Santa Claus. Imagine what the story of Santa will be like 2,000 years from now.
In some ways, that's true.
Right.
And remember, Santa is Satan, spelled differently. Isn't it?
Well, you could rearrange the letters and get that, yes.
But, everything we know, it's just made up and filtered through our culture.
Yeah.
But it's a nice myth if it's used right. And like Gandhi said, I like your Christ, I just don't like you Christians.
Right. They are so unlike your Christ.
Yeah. Because he recited the Sermon on the Mount every night before he went to bed, and said if Christians acted like Christ, all of India would be Christian.
Right.
But of course they didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we are, so like I said, we're still on the air, but we're just not online. Our internet's completely down. I wonder if that has to do with, because it rained so hard earlier, I wonder if there's a storm somewhere that's affected it.
It has to do with the second coming.
Oh, right. This could be it.
Yeah. With Trump, that rough beast.
I was thinking maybe it was the deep state.
Wasn't that part of Antichrist?
I don't know if you know this, but in high school, some friends and I had a proto-metal band called Rough Beast.
No, I didn't.
Mm-hmm. We had lyrics that predicted all of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
And they're probably somewhere on YouTube, along with the guy from the early movie from 1900 with the big cell phone. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Well, we'll begin to wrap up, but John, thank you so much. Always nice to see you.
And peace be with you, brother.
And also with you.
And let's get some shrooms.
But
I've never been on a psychedelic experience.
But no handshaking. Because, in
know
church,
where the hands have been.
In church, when you do the peace be with you, you shake. That's when you shake hands.
Oh,
at least in Catholic church. I don't know what they do.
The Congregationalists.
Yeah. They do that too?
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good. And let's see. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning. Apparently, Gonzo will, in fact, be on the morning show.
The very Christ-like Gonzo, with that
Yes.
beard and those piercing eyes.
That's right.
You know,
That's
like
right.
a wounded puppy.
Yes. You can hear the morning show with Peter White weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. with a replay from 2 to 4 p.m. right before this program. And if you miss any part of today's show, it'll be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org, where we do archive all the programs. I was going to end with something, but I'm not sure it'll play.
Well, if you were on psychedelic mushrooms, you could probably change water into wine too. Who'd really know the difference, huh? If everybody was tripping.
That would be exciting. Oh, maybe I'll play this.
You don't
And
get a DUI either.
No. And by the way, the archive has been updated at WMNHradio.org.
It has?
So all the shows are there.
It has?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Wow.
All right, John, thank you again so much. And don't forget the Hop Knot Trivia Night tonight from 7 to 9. The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street right here in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. And that's it for me for now. Talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.